I'm going to be really British and stand behind the podium. So Newswise is a project from the Guardian Foundation, the National Literacy Trust, and the PSHE Association. It's funded by Google. We work with the hardest to reach primary schools around the UK. Over the past year since we've been running, I've heard lots of reasons why young people shouldn't be exposed to the news. It's too complex, too upsetting, it will give them nightmares. It's stuff they won't understand, it's stuff that is beyond their capabilities of understanding, or simply it's too boring. Young people are more interested in games and toys. Leave them alone to be children and don't bombard them with the news. And yet, we know that 77% of 8 to 11-year-olds are on YouTube, and 1 in 5 8 to 11-year-olds already have a social media presence. They're online independently, whether we like it or not, and they're being exposed to news, whether we like it or not. And it's not just online. Young people are exposed to the news we're watching, that we're listening to in the car, that we're talking about. They're seeing headlines in their local shops. They're exposed to news from the moment they're born. So why do we wait until children are teenagers before we begin to give them the skills to question what they're seeing, reading, and hearing? Newswise has been touring the UK for the past year, and I've learned much about why we should be teaching the youngest children about the news. So here are some of my findings. Firstly, we're already teaching children critical thinking skills in relation to fiction and poetry. What's the author's intent? What's the language trying to make me feel? So why not just include news in this, and YouTube videos, documentaries? Teachers want this. Teachers are desperate for specialist resources about news. They're crying out for ways that they can incorporate news teaching in the classroom. I don't know if many of you know, but the way teachers talk about news now, it tends to be fictional. So pretend a UFO's landed in the playground, write a report about it. Essentially, we're teaching children to write fake news, and then we tell them that fake news is bad. It's no wonder children are confused. It's not all about football and puppies. Actually, we've seen children respond the most to the most adult issues. So where we give children a chance to access stories that they wouldn't normally access, like Windrush, and presented to them in an accessible way. Teachers have talked about children sitting up taller in their seats, becoming citizens in front of their eyes. And that's really special for 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. It doesn't have to be boring. This is some of the stuff we do. We have a fake or for real quiz. We have a clickbait generator game, which is 3 dice. And we're not losing the importance of the issue. We're not losing the impact of the learning by playing games. We also assign roles, so everyone takes on a role in the newsroom. And by the way, every child I've worked with has done this. Breaking news just in. Every child has done this. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Where are they getting that from if they're not already watching the news? And we can educate adults by stealth. We can reach their parents, their brothers and sisters and grandparents by educating children. We've already started to do that with family workshops. We don't want to go back to the 1950s, but we do want to make news a communal activity again, one where families can sit around and discuss news stories, and we should be giving them the tools to do that in a constructive way. This is our news navigator. It's one of the things we give to every child we've worked with to take home and work through with their families. As you can see, we don't just cover fake news, we cover bias, opinion, rumors, and we also give children actions at the end to share or not share. Obviously, we have to be careful about some of the stories we choose. Not all stories are appropriate for children. And we have a responsibility to not frighten children and make them think the world is a scarier place than it really is. But let's give children an opportunity to discuss news in a safe environment. Let's create classrooms where children can bring stories to their teacher and ask questions about them in a safe and responsible way. And let's do the same with families at home. Let's not underestimate children's ability to ask questions about a world that doesn't make sense, and to share their views of life as a young child with their often pure sense of right and wrong. Let's give children the chance to engage in the world and understand all the information they're being given. By doing so, we're actually focusing on their well-being, their citizenship, and their skills. And by engaging future generations in news from the earliest age, we're establishing a habit, a trust in responsible journalism, which is of benefit to all of us in the media industry. Thank you.